Excellent. All right. So we last left off the session. The party is again split. However, the problems within the tower, from what you have found out thus far, have been resolved. Bree is now within the chamber of the Archmage, who you have defeated down below, the remnants of which is now blowing in the wind as he lays across the floor. Adrick was leading the party away from the Archmage's chambers. You have come down the final flight of stairs. You all had a plan to go outside to wait out the evening until the rise of the sun over the peaks of the mountains around you. However, you have now noticed that the bookcase that you're all struggling to open has now come open.
What are we going to do? Do we push it closed again?
No, I don't know. Can we see through the gap?
So, from how I envisaged you all coming down, are you all stood in front of the bookcase, or have you only just come down the flight of stairs?
We'd have come down the stairs, wouldn't we? And it's kind of behind us, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's almost propping up the stairs itself. They're sort of, the three bookcases are nestled underneath the steps.
So who noticed the...
It was yourself.
Okay, so I'm going to go, whoa, hold on, guys. And gaming, I'll draw everyone's attention. At which point I'll probably notice we haven't got Bree with us. But
yeah, where is Bree?
Don't know. Who saw her last?
Wasn't Weylin? Was it Weylin? Were you at the back? You at the back of the sort of procession that we're in?
In honesty, I don't quite remember.
You were the last one to come down the stairs. You did look back, couldn't find her, but you were just trying to keep up with the main group, closing all the doors for the purposes of security, trying to track if anything else was moving within the tower.
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure she's upstairs. Like that's the last time I saw her. She's got a wily way of making it back to us though. I suspect she'll be here shortly.
We were both trying to get through this door. If this door's now open, she's going to want to see what's behind it.
All right. Weylin starts walking back upstairs. Opens the door on the second landing.
Adrick's getting seriously freaked out at this point. You can't just... Okay, all right. Well, you're not wandering off on your own. Yeah, fine, you're not wandering off on your own. Fine. I'm going to go outside and ask Halfnag if he's seen anyone leave. Has anyone come through that door and gone out?
Ah, little one, I heard a commotion up in the taller parts of the tower. Is everyone okay? He's knelt down by the doorway, keeping close to the tower, as it is quite open across this plain that this tower is within.
I've been worse. Can't speak for the others. But yeah, it got a bit exciting. We seem to have misplaced Bree briefly. But there's a bookcase down in the ground floor here. We were trying to move before we went upstairs. And while we were upstairs, it's been moved. So there's a gap behind it. Has anyone come out of the front door while we've been upstairs?
I have not noticed anyone reopen the door. I have been looking around. I've been looking off into the distance into the city across the fissure, trying to see whether or not anything else is moving within its streets. But alas, it is a ghost town, a shell almost. The only commotion was coming from the taller part of the tower that you were within, Adrick. I'm sorry. Was there someone that was meant to come out? One of the members, one of our party?
No, we were all upstairs. I wish you hadn't said ghost town because that's where my family live. Okay. Well, it looks like there's a door hidden behind a bookcase here, which we're going to check out. That must go down, mustn't it? We'll go have a look, and then we'll let you know what is going on. Is that okay?
I will wait here for as long as you are gone.
That's very good of you. We might decide to rest here for a bit anyway. Let's get everybody back downstairs first, and then we can worry about that. If someone's come out of there and not come out the front door. They must be inside the building.
Potentially.
Thank you. I'm going to turn back inside.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Weylin opens up the first door and the second landing. Bree, are you up there?
You hear nothing across the second floor, the floor that you had your fight on. Presumably, she has actually stayed within the chambers of the Archmage. So she's all the way at the top.
Weylin starts to creep back up the stairs.
Loch is most definitely going to have crept towards that door and maybe not swung it fully open, but I'm going to be peeking through the gap if it is one to see if I can see anything behind it.
You can see through the gap with your dark vision that there seems to be a corridor that leads to a stairwell that plummets further down into the foundations of this tower.
Okay. Does the door look like it's been forced open, or?
No, there's no blockwork or bricks. The hinges don't look like they're being broken. There's nothing dislodged on the shelves to signify an impact coming from the back, nor is there anything on the floor. Nothing on the floor that wasn't there prior.
Does it look like there's anything on the floor that's been dislodged from something coming through the door?
No.
Okay. Can I see Adrick anywhere?
He is now emerging back through the front door into this bottom chamber.
Look at Adrick. Are we waiting for Bree before we open this?
Yeah. We got Harshnag outside who can't come in, so we'd be going down there. Just us two, or us three, sorry, and everyone else upstairs or outside. Seems a little.
We'll wait.
Yeah, that's good. Good plan.
We'll wait. Oh yeah, I'm gonna sort of sit on the opposite side of the room to this door and just sort of keep an eye so I can see the whole room in my line of sight.
Okay. No, so you are directly opposite these stairs, just to the right-hand side of the front door, staring across all the tables, etc., that were in the centre used as workbenches.
Can I see any marks on the floor or anything like that? Does it look like someone's come through? Or has anything else look moved? Is another question for you.
So on the floor, you notice that, again, there's all that paper, the parchment, etc., that's been blown around every now and then from the gust of wind coming through the front door. But there doesn't seem to be anything that would signify any crumpling of the paper. Nothing's torn. But no, there's no other marks or anything. Nothing has damaged the walls, scraped along the floor, dislodged the table. Nothing. It's almost as if that the events that are at the top of the tower may have released a lock, maybe on this bookcase. Almost as something holding an entity in this tower was key. The bookcase wasn't fully open. Loch had to pull it out of its seating, rotating it on its hinges in the wall, and it most certainly has not swung back into place. Okay,
so I can relay to the other two my thoughts on that what the evil or the creature that was in the tower was effectively keeping the door locked.
Okay, so it's not like something's came through that door, it's just there's nothing holding that door shut.
Hopefully, yeah.
Interesting. Why would this being be holding the door shut?
That's some sort of magic to protect whatever's underneath.
That just makes me want to go down there even more.
Look, this city has all sorts of wards and power protecting it, or used to have. So around it were a set of boundary stones to keep things away that shouldn't be here.
Do you think this is a way past them?
I think we should be inside that boundary, but obviously something came through previously, or it was already inside. And yeah, when the dwarves in this tower were going in and unlocking things and opening things, they let something in.
Well, what if the doorway behind that bookcase is the way through that barrier? What if that's the way they've all got in?
That's a scary thought because we're fairly close to the city here. But yeah, if there's... Remember what it said in that book that we found in the diary? It was talking about things he'd found, that they'd opened up things they shouldn't have opened up.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what came through and killed all those people.
That's the situation.
Yeah, they've let something out that shouldn't have been let out. Wonder where the other two are.
I'll look upstairs. Do we see any sign of Bree coming down?
So, Weylin, you've been making your way up the stairs. You're going through the top stairwell to the landing of the 4th level. The door is still shut, but you can see now, especially with the sun fully set down below the mountains outside, that there is a flicker of candlelight within this room.
How opens the door?
Okay, you unlock the door. The metallic latch goes clink. You can see that your feline friend, Bree, has been busy squirreling away pieces of paper into organised piles, and they are all arcing around her on the floor as she brings over another pile of paper to sift through. Bree, you are finding all manner of weirdness within this room. Something that would almost signify someone in a slow descent of madness, disarray, depression, anger, and in some cases, sadness and someone maybe seeking forgiveness.
Oh, that's kind of depressing.
But 90% of the stuff that you're finding is written in Dwarven, or a language that you do not understand.
Where is Adrick when I need him?
The door creaks open, and your long-eared friend is stood within its doorframe.
Weylin kind of just tilts his head, frowns a little bit. What are you up to, Bree?
Wishing I knew Dwarvish right now. Well, Dwarven. You don't to understand Dwarven, do you?
No, I don't, unfortunately. Well, let's go get Adrick.
Yeah, that would be good. We should definitely
All right.
focus on books and writings over anything else right now.
Yeah. Weylin, kind of feeling a little bit safer, starts bounding down the stairs to go meet Adrick.
As you're... Bree, we'll get back to you just in a second, just so I know what you're doing. But, Weylin, you've gone down the stairwell. You're slightly leaving the doors open again. You go through to one landing, and there's a set of stairs that you actually haven't gone up yet.
Oh no. Go.
That Weylin carries on downstairs.
Okay. You shake your head, thinking better of it, and you go down. Bree, Weylin has now departed, presumably assuming that you're going to follow him. You have a big pile of parchment in your hand, taken from one of the from one of the 6 points of this hexagonal room. Yeah, so just to describe the room again, so scattered around the room have been the numerous books of varying sizes, torn, broken in half, with all these manic scribblings overlaying on the original written pages. But circling the walls of the room, making up this multi-layered chamber, are the wooden stairs and large walkways comprising of its upper levels. Now, the wide landings make way for the paper, parchment, and scrolls that seem to be bundled and stuffed, piled high up against the balustrade and spilling through its banisters. But in the centre of the room seems to be a work area of sorts that has been rudimentarily pushed together and placed. That being said, right now it is in complete disarray. Smashed apart, broken, apparatus and tools pushed aside, thrown across the floor. What would you like to be doing in the meantime?
So as Weylin left, I'm continuing organizing the books.
Okay.
Because I had assumed from our conversation that he was going to get Adrick to come up here so Adrick can translate everything for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, I didn't particularly invite Bree to come downstairs. I just kind of started a brisk walk down.
So what you've been trying to do is you've been trying to keep the books and the pieces of paper almost in the same region that they came from, but then having like a sub-sorting category.
Yeah. So with my little knowledge of Dwarven language, familiar words on like the covers or the titles, I'll try to, I guess, narrow and like subcategorize based off of that, because I don't actually understand the language.
So for now, I will say that you've been able to piece certain things that are personal, that are arcane, and another sort of broad category in your head of work, i.e. some of the more odd things that a mage or a wizard would keep within their room. One such odd grouping of things seems to be a large pile dedicated to what you would deem as a study into rare earth minerals. There are multiple maps of the surrounding region that have been red chalked, red inked, circled, as well as very old Underdark charters that differ in scale and depth, but almost as if someone's been trying to cut these out and overlay them on the upper region of the Savage Frontier. There's notes written in Dwarven, coming out of almost like speech bubbles or note marks across these maps, as well as a variety of books that focus more on sort of geographical strata, at least from the pictures and diagrams that you can piece together. Again, it's all in Dwarven, sorry. But a lot of the bookmarks that you've been able to pull or leave within and leave the books open on seem to be focusing on maths, really.
Do I understand the maths?
Lots of longitude, latitude, angular, trigonometry, almost as if it's trying to triangulate or pinpoint a direction or an entrance of some sorts.
This moment, I wish we had a wizard in our group.
There's quite a lot of artwork in the room as well that seems to be handmade.
Okay, I'll grab a bunch of those.
Okay.
And then just shove it in my bag for another day.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a moment. But Weylin, you've been able to, you've gone downstairs. Adrick, Loch, Coco, you see just Weylin emerge from the stairwell below.
Where's Bree?
She's upstairs, gathering a bunch of paperwork, but it's all in Dwarven. Just wondering if Adrick could come upstairs.
Did you tell her about the door?
Oh, no, I didn't tell her about the door.
Oh.
Yeah. But the paperwork looked important, so I think we should chase that first, and then we get to the door. Door being probably a good sort of risky bit.
Do we need to keep watch on the door to make sure nothing comes through said door whilst we're all upstairs?
You know what, Loch? That's a pretty good idea. Do you want to stay down with? Actually, I will stay down here with yourself, Loch. And
yeah, I'd say at least two of us may have to stay.
Yeah. Okay.
Harshnag's outside as well.
Can he see the door though?
He probably wouldn't be able to see the door.
I'm not worried about something coming through the door and getting outside. It's more coming through the door and following us up.
Oh, in which case Harshnag is outside. We should be okay if we just sort of.
So it's more about something coming through that door and then up into the.
We should certainly stay. Well, I'll stay downstairs and keep watch. You sitting here, Loch?
Can my little companion, can it talk to me telepathically, or is it just through voice only?
Let me have a look at how the spell works. Bear with.
The language of bears. Roar.
So you three guys are going to stay down here, guarding the door while I go upstairs.
I'm just trying to figure out whether my little bear friend here can contact me telepathically. If so, then I'll leave this little chap down here, little Reuben down here, and we can all off-ski upstairs.
Reuben?
That's his name.
Of course it is.
I'll hold up Ruben.
Could be worse.
I'm happy to come upstairs as well.
Fine. Coco and I will go upstairs. You guys can guard the bookcase or something. And
Okay. So, are you wanting to summon your little friend?
Yeah, I'll summon my little guy.
It's going to take an hour.
Wow. Do you know what? You guys go. I'm just going to sit here and watch this door. Whilst I'm doing it, I might sit there watching this door, summoning my little guy. Just to check that we've already had a rest, haven't we?
No, we had a short rest. Sorry, Bree.
Yeah, no, I was just saying we had a short rest.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm gonna sit there summoning my little matey.
Cool. Okay, so you start. Coco, Weylin, Adrick. You are going upstairs. I'll remind Weylin, you go past that stairwell that you have not been up yet.
I'm gonna go up the staircase, but first, before I do, I'm gonna tap on Kokopelli. Hey, Kokopelli, do you want to go up these stairs with me?
No.
Don't do that. Come on, editing these damn things is hard enough.
That's how I'm doing it in his ear, like really loud.
I just need you a bit close to the mic as well, Matt, just to let you know. You're a bit quiet.
I did do that for you, so what do you want?
Sorry.
God. No. Once again, I don't want to go upstairs. No. I'm gonna go see what Bree's doing.
You being a bit squawky. Squawk.
Now I'm gonna probably go upstairs, have a look at some books, not read them. Maybe draw some pretty pictures. I don't know. Maybe find a new art. I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah, you do map stuff. Yeah. So
map stuff.
Weylin just like remembers. You do map stuff. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna definitely do. Yeah.
All right, I'll go up on my own then.
Bye.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll do Coco, Adrick meeting up with Bree first, and then we'll get to you, Weylin, okay?
Oh yeah, take your time.
Perfect, no worries. Adrick, you open the door that has been left ajar, with candlelight bleeding through its crack onto the upper landing, and you can see that Bree has been hard at work organising this chaos, as it were.
I would like to go and trash it. I'm joking.
I was having the same thought.
Oh, let's do it together, Adrick. Let's go.
Intrusive thoughts.
Bonfire. No, stop
cast sacred
thinking
flame. I'm just gonna have a little look what she's doing, and then I'm gonna just ponder over and ask if she's found any like books with pictures.
I'm going to stand next to him and say, or I'm told you need something translating.
Yeah, that's your job.
Yes.
Yeah, what a duh.
Adrick, it should be a very quick read, but all the piles here, and here are for you.
How many pages am I looking at here?
Only a couple hundred with a question mark.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of regions of stacked paperwork, Adrick. There's a lot. Bree's been quite efficient in trying to get these piles all organised and stacked neatly. Probably from her training, etc., back from her home.
Okay. Is there any sort of order to them, or is it literally page 175, then page 412, and then 36, and they're from 3 different books? Or...
So the piles that Bree would have organised, Bree, you've tried to keep some of the stacks as organised as possible when you're moving them around.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that there hasn't been some mix-ups along the way, potentially.
Yeah, that's fine.
But keeping with those 3 groups that I mentioned to you earlier, Bree, you've kind of worked out some smaller subgroups. One of the easier groups that Bree seems to have got on the hang of, Adrick, is the pile regarding geology, mining, prospecting, rare earth, minerals, bit of gem cutting here and there, it seems.
I think the one that's probably more relevant to what's happening now, Adric, is this pile here, which seems to be a bit more personal, possibly written by people who lived here.
Okay, I'll sit down on the floor. It's on the floor, is it? Or is it on the table? I'll sit down and look at the first stack.
Okay. There's a stool that you can pull up. Everything has been sort of placed on the floor, or on what could be classed as a work surface, but has been sort of cloven in two. You do recall that there has been help in the past by this enclave of mages, sages, wizards. Those are the arcane during some of the more thought-out plans of the mining expeditions that happened within the city, but you never really had full dealings with said expeditions. All you would have maybe seen was the outcome or some of the stories. But with your latter interests of the city, Adric, a lot of that kind of was forgotten and pushed to the back of your mind, especially in the run-up to the fateful event of the city causing your leave.
Yeah. Okay.
So, touching on the maps and some of the other kept together notes bound with some metal rings, it does seem to be that the Archmage was planning some large-scale excavations, not just within the region of the Ice Spires of the Savage Frontier, but it did bleed out on either side of this tail end of the mountain range of the Spine of the World. The maths, the equations, the diagrams, most of it does go over your head, but it does look to be as if there was trial and error in going to certain places. One date stands out, and that was the date of that the mage down below wrote within his personal journal, the dire, chaotic event of the attack within one of the deeper mined areas.
The 7th day of the second 10 day of Kythorn, that date.
Yes, the one where not just the mining expedition lost people, but the mages also lost some of their own. But that has been completely and utterly scratched out with like red ink, black ink, charcoal.
Well, the date has, or the diary entry.
No, the diagrams and stuff, and the pieces of paper that make reference to that region on the map.
Oh, can I make anything on it?
Except for the date and a depth, there's a couple of questions of could be here, high chance, worth something to do with risk. Funnily enough, there's some regions within Ascor that have been circled as well. There are some areas within the Glimmerwood, the trio of woodland areas that you skirted the grassy plains that it was adjacent to as you were going to the Cold Loch. There's also some other regions circled that were in the just south of the Nather Mountains around the Delimbe Vale that have been circled, but there aren't as many notes appended to those areas.
Oh.
There's also some circled in the region that you know as Hartsvale, which is to the northeast of the city. But again, there really isn't a lot of information to go on as to the reasons why these have been circled on the map.
Mm-hmm. I'll pass the map to Kokopelli to see if he can make head or tail of what's going on.
Coco, you have been handed some information by Adric.
Hello, is this pictures?
It's a map.
I love maps. Oh my god.
I know you love maps. You're good at
Let's
maps.
get a look at this. Oh, maps.
There's bits circled which seem to be important.
Okay. I'll just get my other map out. So I'm going to get the little tube I've made, and then I'll unravel it with the map we've got and see what I can do.
Okay.
Well, while you're doing that, I will go sit with Bree and draw her attention to the fact that this entry for the 7th day of the second of Kythorn's been scratched out, and explain That's where it ties back to the diary entry we found in the room below. That's when they lost control and released a beast.
Oh. So, what do you make of it then, of all of this?
Oof. They were looking for something. The mage was looking for something. They were trying to find it, and maybe these are places marked on that map that thing was. But if they found it here, was what they found the monster that we then killed, or was that monster there coincidentally because it's also after the same thing that they were after? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So do you think they were looking for a monster or like a physical item?
I don't see why they'd be looking for a monster. They're more likely to be looking for something that's of some value. Yeah, I mean, mining. Yeah, we do mines. We have mining. Do smithing. We do metalworking. We'd normally be looking for that sort of thing.
Yeah, like in this pile of books over here, there's a lot on like minerals and mining. So I wonder if we can make any connection from what they were looking for. If there's like a specific mineral or type of mine that they have been looking into recently.
What sort of minerals are they looking for?
I don't know, but we might find out in this pile. And I'll put a couple books in front of Adrick.
Fine. I will pass Bree back the previous stack and look at the second stack.
The books that she's handed to you, a lot of the bookmarks that are within some of these large, hefty tomes, they seem to be more focused on the rarer variety of like classification of gems. So how you can have a diamond, but that diamond may not necessarily be the same as another diamond found in the same location, or a diamond found deeper, or diamond found on the surface. It seems to be driving research deeper into the realms of the Underdark, trying to find the better quality, the more rarer variety of gemstones. There are a couple of footnotes on these pieces of paper, and some of them have dates, just random sporadic dates prior to prior to the dates that you know of from the mage's journal down below, with names appended to them. It seems that no one gets the same gem or mineral to work on, and there are repeated names that get the same mineral but on different days. But these dates span weeks, almost as if it's a list of potentially other excursions down below that was successful, and they brought back treasures from deep below. As you're reading deeper into this, Adrick, something that you have tried to dabble in over the last, I believe the last year or so, and some of the some questions that you've given to one of your new members of your team, one of your larger fellows of your party. There seems to be a lot of notes and small handwritten journals on the art of runic carving.
Oh, I'll put those notes to one side because Okay, so it's going to be right. We've got some information here on rune carving. Got information here on research on particular gems. So they're going off looking in the deep places for certain gems, certain minerals, then coming back and doing research into them. And then they seem to have gone looking for something deep down in a cavern. They broke into a cavern and released the creature. So they're getting down into the deep places of the world.
So do you think they didn't mean to release the creature, but they were just searching for specific minerals in that area?
Yeah, that diary we found didn't say they were looking for the beast. They said they've lost people to the beast within the cavern. They broke into the cavern and there was the beast.
Yeah.
And then it said the fire forges, like my family, sealed the entranceway.
That's true.
So if that entranceway was actually the doorway downstairs behind the bookcase, that doorway is now open. Potentially the wards that my family put on it were lifted when the monster was killed.
Do you think there's another monster down there?
I've heard stories about what goes on in what's called the Underdark, which is below the darkest places.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never been there. But there are strange creatures down there. They can control your mind and do all sorts of weird things to you.
Mm-hmm. BM, am I familiar with the Underdark?
Not too much about the Underdark because there's been more excitement to the regions away from the Sword's Coast, let's say. But you know that the Underdark is made up of 3 different intermingling layers of sorts. We have the Upper Dark, the Mid Dark, and the Lower Dark. All 3 are more commonly known as the Underdark. There are cities, there are civilizations, there are communities that call the Underdark home, and there is trade that is conducted through some of these more safer regions of the Underdark. It's not as if it's a big, spooky, scary tale that parents or people tell to children or groups trying to scare them away from this area. Multiple adventurers have found fortunes galore down in the Underdark in the earlier histories of Faerun. But as with this fortune does come disaster, there does come of tales of just impenetrable darkness, creatures the size of mountains that do dwell within the inner heart of Toriel.
Okay.
I'd stress that Adrick knows almost nothing about it, and he's completely bullshitting this. Just he knows a little bit, yeah?
Just so I know, Adric, are you actually looking into more of these bits and pieces of runic carving that you've sort of sifted out and pushed to one pile?
I've pushed them into one part. My intention is to just casually lift them up with me as I walk away in the future, but I'll probably have to study them a bit more later. But yeah, obviously trying to concentrate on what Bree's asked for here, which is a bit more depth.
Okay. Coco, apologies. What are you doing? Well,
Map. I'm going to try and pinpoint it on the map I've made so far, potentially.
Yes. So, the map that you have been making, you've been able to update. Funnily enough, you are quite surprised that some of the areas from your home region of Hartsvale are on this map. One such region that has been encircled are what you know as the Maundrail Rift, is south of a large, expansive wood, a wood called the Heartwoods.
Okay.
There are a couple of other smaller circles, as it were. Whether or not these are pinpointed areas or areas of less interest, you do not know. But there are more notes around this area encircling the middle point of the Maundrail Rift, south of this woods, than any of the other encircled areas. So you've been able to update bits and pieces here. But what's also caught your attention are some of these pieces of artwork that lay strewn across the more personal area of the now deceased Archmage, sort of around where his bedsit used to be.
Can I have a little gander?
Of course.
And how big is his artwork?
So these sketches, these almost impressionistic pieces of art, they dot around. They're sort of some of them have actually been stuffed underneath the bed frame that is now cracked and ripped apart. They vary in size, they vary in completeness, they vary in quality. Some have had more time spent on them, whereas others have been completely smudged and ripped apart, almost as if they are the failings of a frustrated artist.
Okay. I'll just have a look for a couple, see what I'll make of them.
You managed to piece together quite a few. They all seem to be using the same medium, sketches that are placed onto the paper in a in chaotic charcoal imagery. There does seem to be a constant theme, harrowing in nature, almost as if something is suppressing another thing. There's a theme of a tall shadow overlooking a haunched figure. Across some of these pieces of work, an attempt has been made to draw more attention to the shadow's features, but they never seem to be finished, seemingly smudged out if they were a mistake, wanting to restart trying to figure out what this shadowy picture is.
Okay.
Tucked away, there does seem to be a wooden frame of sorts that would be used for a canvas. Would you like to go pick this up? It's sort of tucked behind this chest of drawers, pushed up against the broken bed frame in this corner.
Yeah, I'll have a look. Sorry, with those other pictures, how big is the pieces of paper?
Oh, they vary in size from sort of postcard size, A5 size, all the way to paper that you would more predominantly use for cartography. Something that's a bit too posh for, too expensive for sketching.
Okay. Could I take those?
Yeah, sure thing. So I would say the ones that are easier to look at, ones that have a better quality, something with more definitive features. You've got 5 of these items.
Okay.
Okay, so just write that on your character sheet when you can, please, in your inventory.
Can do.
This one piece of art that you have now pulled free from behind the chest of drawers depicts a winged creature enveloped by a cloak of shadow made by this erratic smearing of this charcoal medium. This figure seems to be placed at the bottom of the page, almost as if the concentration of this charcoal goes darker towards the edges, almost depicting a passage leading to the top, breaking free from something. But there are 2 prominent features that present themselves amidst these charcoal swirls, with the similarities to that of cat eyes, but with multiple slitted pupils that are enveloped by 2 faded golden circles.
It's Bree.
No, my plan, you've ruined it.
Oh no! Okay. Wait, so it's a canvas, yeah?
Yes.
You said, yeah. And
It's a narrow framed canvas, so it's not like it's probably about 1/4 of an inch thick, reinforced on the back. It doesn't break apart when you move it.
Okay. And it had that shadowy figure, I guess, kind of done, and then some eye stuff.
Yeah, it looked to be semi-finished. It's not been signed or anything like that. It hasn't been. Generally, when artists finish a picture, they do put like a lacquer over the top that won't damage the paints or the oils that they've used. This is an unfinished picture.
Okay. And how big is this canvas?
Probably as long, just taller than where your knee is on your leg. So it stands quite tall, but it's quite narrow. Hence this depiction of this long channel, this passage going up towards the top of this page.
Okay. So it's the size of my knee, so it's roughly 1 foot tall? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you're a little tiny bird, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's probably up to your waist then. If a bird had a belly button.
Oh god. Trying to imagine myself being 5 foot. Oh god, yeah, that's massive. Yeah, okay. So with the map stuff, I'm gonna obviously quickly jot down anything I know that I can add to it. And then I think my plan is now, because I'm curious, because it keeps saying about the shadowy figure, and remembering back when Loch said something about a vision he had.
Sure thing.
I want to show him these pictures and see what happens, if he remembers.
As you go to sort of do what you may with this picture, a piece of linen falls out of the back.
Ooh.
It seems to be folded up neatly, tied in a rudimentary piece of twine.
Scare look.
Unfortunately, you do not understand what is on this piece of linen as you unfurl it, but it has been handwritten in ink. Yep, sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been handwritten in ink, and it seems to be in a cursive, in a sentence structure, that of Elven.
I'm definitely going to go Dad's Loch.
But there does seem to be another mixture thrown into this passage. These paragraphs that are written on this linen.
What kind of lettering is it?
It's some odd kind of symbolism. some rather complex and faceted characters. It doesn't share any likeness to that of Giant. Some of the stuff that you've seen Bree write in her books and seen with some of the items that you found, it doesn't have that likeness to it.
So it's not Dwarven then?
No, but it
okay.
does intermingle well with the Elven.
Okay. I'll take that with me. Do my map stuff, and then once I've finished my map stuff, ever so somewhat quickly,
Okay.
and then redo it later. Other two here know that I'll just quickly go back to Loch and show them these things in case.
As you sort of refold this piece of linen, as luck would have it, there is actually a small piece of writing on there that is in Dwarven.
I'm going to abruptly just say, Adrick, what does this say?
Adrick, you are shown a piece of good quality linen. A lot of the language you do not understand, but just placed on the sort of the bridge of Coco's hand as it folds over the back of his hand. There reads almost like a footnote. You see the mentions of a vale or a path in which the grandest of riches will be found, and riches is underlined several times.
I kind of switched from being irritated at being interrupted because I was trying to make head nor tail of what was next to me, to suddenly seeing the word riches underlined several times and sit up and pay a bit more attention. Okay, what you got there, matey?
Look, Dwarven letters. Are these Dwarven letters?
Yeah, these are Dwarven letters. Yeah, that's and Elvish. What's the Dwarven say? Where did you get this?
I just found some very peculiar artwork. Definitely not stealing this, but it looks to me as if Loch may have seen this in his vision. I remember something he said about something dragging him, and then there's cat eyes on this one, but then this linen looks very cryptic, and it looks like it's got Elven, so he can probably translate part of it. So I'm going to do the map stuff real quick for you guys, but I'm going to run down to Loch, make sure he's fine, but also show him these things.
Do you want to? Are we better off bringing everyone upstairs? Oh no, we got to guard the doorway.
Yeah, so I can go down and sort of like help now, I guess.
Yeah, swap over, send him up to have a look at the picture you found, and Bree and I will have a look at this piece of paper, linen.
Okay, he could probably read part of that linen, but I'll let him know about that as well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to help with that as well.
Hell yeah, cool. I start jotting down on my map then, and then I'll quickly run downstairs afterwards.
Adrick, sorry, were you trying to look at anything else on that piece of linen that you were shown?
Well, it's got Elvish writing on it and Dwarvish writing. What do the Dwarven characters say, and is there anything else I can make out on it?
So yeah, so apart from that little footnote that mentions riches or a location, there is a similarity between Gnomish and Elvish, and you are able to pick out one or two of the words within this passage of text. A couple of them are sentinel, standing, blighted, and labyrinth.
Oh, okay. There's lots of interesting words. I wasn't expecting to be typing them today, reading them today. I'll show the bit of paper to Bree.
I can make out the Elvish.
Oh, bugger, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to read out what's in Elvish?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to send you something in chat. 1 second.
No worries.
So this is the passage of text.
It says poo poo stinky poo poo pee pee.
No, it doesn't say that at all.
It's
It
stinky
definitely includes sentinel, standing, blighted, and labyrinth. It's a crossword.
So is that just in Elven?
From what you can make out, there does seem to be some little areas or sentences that you cannot make out because from the books that you've written back in the libraries that you've gone through, it's a bit unnerving, but some of this seems to be written or intermingled with abyssal.
Okay.
But with most of the sentence there, it's been, I wouldn't say easy, but you've been able to patch the gaps with something that would form the sentence correct or give some meaning to it. Some bits may be lost in translation.
Okay. Am I free to just read this out loud?
Yeah, of course, if you want.
Okay.
Unless you want to read it in front of everyone when you go downstairs, or however you will want to do it.
No, I'll just translate out loud with the three of us that are here. Amidst the lofty boughs that stand sentinel in a court of high standing, seek the emerald figure that ascends into the stars. There, leaves and shadows. Fear not the door of roots and soil, for the path lies forward fissured into the spires. Oh, cut out again.
You got really clear, though.
Hey, was it cut out again?
I think it's cut out.
Yeah. So what I've done is I've stopped the music because I think that's what's playing a problem in the chat. So I do apologise. I'm gonna bomb the party pocket bard for this session. Unfortunately.
Cool.
I think there's actually a problem with it.
Sounds.
Okay. So, yes, I'll just reread what Bree.
Should I reread that? Or...
You can reread it, yeah. But please do yes. Sorry, everyone.
One of you can put it in the party in the notes.
There we go. I put it in the game session notes as well.
Cool.
It did just cut out again for me, so I don't know what's going on.
As well.
Yeah, me too.
I go ahead and reread this, or
Go ahead. It's all good.
Okay, cool. In the realm where the ancient oaks hold court, and the wind carries the echoes of long-forgotten spells, venture into its arboreal labyrinth. I wonder if they mean downstairs. Do we know how to open the door? Let me actually
open.
just... What? When?
When we went downstairs. That's why Weylin came up to tell you the door was open.
Oh, no one told me that. Weylin didn't say anything.
That's why he came up. Well, he came up to get you and to tell you the door was open and see if you wanted to go and look.
Ah, whoops.
And then he came down and said, I had to come up here to translate. And then we've been sitting here translating. And yeah. Anyway, the door's open downstairs.
Sorry. Let me finish reading this. We'll figure this out later. Amidst the lofty boughs that stand sentinel in a court of high standing, seek the emerald figure that ascends into the stars. There, blighted branches dance by enchantment. The answer lies entwined in the language of leaves and shadows. Fear not the door of roots and soil, for the path lies forward fissured into the spires. I have no idea what any of that means. Aside from maybe what could be downstairs.
Well, downstairs looks like a corridor leading to a stair going down. And from here, it could only be going down into the mines or the caverns below the city anyway. And that's a bit of a maze.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not got any trees in it.
Yeah. Do you think the Archmage wrote this?
Does the handwriting look familiar?
The only handwriting that looks familiar is that written in Dwarvish.
Okay, so the Archmage might have written this Dwarvish note, which talks about riches and mentions a location. So can we find that location on Coco's map? Or are we getting sidetracked again?
Who knows?
There could be many more clues in this room. We've got an open door downstairs. We don't know where my family are. There seems to be no one alive here.
No.
Potentially we just go down the stairs, or we completely ignore that stairwell and go straight through the front of the city.
And talking about stairwells, Weylin, you have made your way up this stairwell, breaking off from Coco and Adrick as they go up to meet Bree. Your torch held aloft, illuminating the stairs upwards. This stairs does end sooner than the other stairs that Adrick and Bree have gone up. Adrick and Coco have gone up to, and the door is open. The moonlight does seem to bleed through slightly in this room, but then it is quickly overcome by the amber glow of your torch.
Weylin will proceed going through the door.
The door is the same as those across the tower. Opens up, and you can see that something has made this its home. On one side, you can see order. You can see as a familiar sight of someone who has notes, who has a day-to-day life. But then on the other side, you can see chaos and something of despair. Across on the side on your left, the nicer side to look at, there are the odd personal effect here and there. There is a rudimentary bed tucked behind what looks to be a panel of some sort, trying to give them some privacy, maybe when asleep, or some security. However, the remaining of the room is that of the other rooms downstairs, completely torn asunder, furniture strewn about the place, toppled over wardrobes, ripped apart bookshelves, smashed up crates and containers and workbenches.
Wayland's going to go towards the more organised side to begin with, and kind of just have a look at these personal effects.
Okay. There's mounds of rubbish and stuff throughout this room. Okay, almost as if something's pushed a lot of the just this broken up stuff to one side, trying to make a way for a pathway almost towards the bed, etc. And these little kitchenette areas, as it were. There's a small stove that would be used for wood, like kindling to boil a kettle. The bed, yes, would keep someone warm, but does not look comfy at all. There's a couple of boxes here and there, one being open, completely empty, and another shut, almost the same size as jewelry boxes or small lock boxes. There is sort of rotten food thrown about, the remnants of bones here and there of like a chicken leg and stuff like that. There's a cabinet that's been sort of propped up and swings open. You can see a couple of things in there that have been placed in there for some form of normality, or trying to put things in one location rather than sprawled out like the rest of this room.
Okay. The locked boxes catch Wayland's eye. Weylin, of course, doesn't know they're locked, so he's going to try and open them.
So the lockbox that is open, or this little jewelry box, there's a couple of little like rubbishy bits in there. Presumably the contents that is on the little stand, this little table next to the bed, would be put back in, maybe, or someone's writing implements, etc. But there's nothing really of note. The other box, you presume that it's closed, and you go to pull the lid, and the lid actually opens. Within this box is a couple of, looks to be plain gold bands, rings, a couple of gold pieces here and there, as well as what looks to be a long geode, a long piece of crystal that has has some form of coloration that goes through it.
What sort of color is the geode?
As you pick up the geode and try to illuminate it in such a way that isn't just amber from the torchlight, as you spin around, there's something else that does catch your eye, and not being caught for the right reasons. On the opposite side of this room, amidst the piles of rubbish, broken bits of furniture, looks to be a smaller pile of some things.
Some things. Does it resemble a humanoid of any description, or?
It seems to resemble a pile of remnants of multiple humanoids, completely picked clean, rib cages, bones, small femurs cracked in half, and the odd skull dotted around the area.
Okay, picture clean explains no smell. What does the room smell like?
Damp, a bit mouldy. I think stagnant is the best description for this area.
Okay. Weylin will start picking up the gold bands, put the geode in his pocket, like his overcoat pocket, but everything else into his bag.
Okay.
So the pile of remnants, most likely being bones and skulls, is that on the chaotic side of the room?
Oh yes, it's like dead
Yeah.
center of this region.
Yeah, I thought so. So, is there any writing on the walls or anything like that?
There is the general theme that is repeated on the other levels that you've seen all this chaos, and that is the large gouges of the claws that have raked across the blockwork.
Are there any interesting looking pieces of parchment laying on the sleeping area at all, or near the sleeping area?
There seems to be underneath the not so lovely looking pillow a bunch of folded notes, almost folded in a way of a rudimentary notebook.
Okay, Wayland's gonna pick those up and put them in his overcoat pocket as well. He's gonna sort of look around and see if there's anything that looks of any importance. I know that sounds general, but he's looking for intact books, single bits of parchment with writing on, and/or valuables.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be anything of note in that regard. The only interesting thing is this box, these pieces of parchment that you've now folded and put in your pocket, and the pile of skulls and remnants. Are you looking at that again, or have you kind of had enough of that sight?
We're going to take a closer look at the remnants to see if there's any bits of clothing in and around the area.
Yeah, so the clothing varies. It looks to be all handmade, all hand-stitched together. Not as if it's poor person clothing, but has that handmade look to it. What you can't really get over, and you're confused whether or not this is the same type of humanoid, of person, or it is a mixture of varying humanoid races, but the skulls seem to vary in form, in size. At one moment you were hoping to your clerical god that some of these remains were not children, but there is a slight relief once you realise that no, this looks to be that of a small humanoid such as a gnome or a halfling.
Right, okay.
Just for a number, just to give you a bit more of a clear picture, there seems to be 6 individual skulls that you can make out without digging through the pile.
Okay. 6 individual skulls. That would pretty much, that would pretty much add up with regards to the people in the tower, really. Multiple different sort of breeds and races. Weylin sort of thinking to himself. Weylin is happy enough. One, he hasn't been ambushed, and 2, he's got some possibly valuable information. He's gonna sort of leave the room and head back down the stairs to then go back up the stairs to meet the rest of the group. With being thorough within this room in the moments that you have been here, and showing a glimpse of respect to those that have sadly perished within these walls of this chamber, you graciously close the door behind you, with your torch now illuminating down the stairwell as you make your way back down to the landing that you departed Coco on. Yes. Do you go up to Bree, Adrick, and Coco, or are you going further down?
That's correct. I'm going to be rendezvousing with the rest of the group.
Cool.
That was
okay.
that was enough for Weylin to see for a little bit.